What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today we're going to look at 5 competitive standard format decks in the Pokemon trading card game that you can buy in real life for an estimated price of 55 US dollars or less. These will all be decks that have placed top 32 or better at recent major events, as per limitlesstcg.com. So, of course, shout out to them for starters for having this great resource for us to find these decks and information on. And before we take a look at these 5 deck lists, I'd like to shout out my sponsors, PotownStore.com, the best place to get PTCGO codes, and CardTrooperGames.com, where you can buy booster boxes and use code CELIO for 5% off. You can find my deck lists and other community members' deck lists at PokemonCard.io, and even share your own there. And also be sure to check out Beast Coast Pokemon, the collaborative Pokemon YouTube channel that I'm a part of. We create VGC, TCG, and other kinds of Pokemon content there. Links for everything are in the description down below. Now let's take a look at 5 decks under $55. We're going to be starting with Hariyama. This was piloted by Theodore to a 29th place placement in Liverpool Regional, so top 32 is not bad at all for a deck that nobody's ever heard of. Now this is going to be the cheapest deck in this video. It is the most rogue deck, and I'd say the most fun tier deck out of everything we'll look at today, but it did place well at an event, and for good reason. Hariyama is fighting type, it has single strike support, so that means single strike energy will be helping it do more damage. So fighting type's really good because Arceus V-Star is weak to fighting, Jolteon VMAX is weak to fighting, Gengar VMAX, Crobat V, all weak to fighting. All pretty popular Pokemon, all pretty good Pokemon cards being used right now in the format. And Hariyama also has the ability Guts. If this Pokemon would be knocked out by damage from an attack, flip a coin. If heads, this Pokemon is not knocked out, and its remaining HP becomes 10. So it can survive a hit, and it only gives up 1 prize when it's knocked out. And then you also have Morpeko and Stonejourner as a Dark type attacker and a backup fighting type attacker, because Dark is also important to hit, with Mew VMAX being the best deck in format, arguably, and very, very popular. And then Houndoom can also be an attacker, but it's really here for Single Strike Roar to accelerate single strike energies from the deck to your single strike Pokemon. One of the most expensive parts of this deck is actually just the 4 capture energy, but for just under $30, if you're thinking about getting into the competitive Pokemon TCG, or maybe even you just want to attend League or some local events with friends, this could be a really great starter deck for you. Not going to take too much money, and it will be pretty fun to play, and you'll get to deal with a bunch of different Pokemon as well. So you're not just having like a one Pokemon focused deck. You got your Hariyama, but you also have Morpeko, Stonejourner. You get a lot of use out of Houndoom, and you'll also learn a bunch of different trainers along the way. So I think this is a great starter option if you, a friend, maybe one of your kids want to start playing. Order the cards for this deck for the standard format. Like I said, it's the most fun tier deck on this video today, but it's still got a top 32 at a regional event. Next is going to be Malamar, Rapidstrike Malamar. This is Joe Bernard of Omnipoke's list. He got 6th place at Liverpool, and Max Roberts got 20th place at Liverpool with the same list. And there were also other Rapidstrike Malamars in top 8 of that event. This is a very good deck, arguably tier 1, and it's the cheapest tier 1 deck for sure. Only $36 estimated here. So it could be a little bit less, a little bit more, depending on shipping and tax and whatnot. But Malamar is a Rapidstrike Stage 1 card, also a non-V Pokemon, single prizer, so only giving up 1 prize by default when knocked out. It's Psychic type, which is pretty good. It's not the best typing, but it will hit things like Galarian Zapdos V and Rapidstrike Urshifu and Single Strike Urshifu for weakness. And the main attack of this deck will be Rapidstrike Tentacles. For 1 Psychic Energy, it does 40x. Reveal any number of Rapidstrike cards from your hand. This attack does 40 damage for each card you revealed in this way. Then shuffle those cards into your deck. Now, the thing about Malamar and Teleon is this can be a pretty complicated deck to play perfectly. Because of the Shady Dealings Drizzle that allows you to get any trainer card from your deck, and the Shady Dealings Inteleon that allows you to get any 2 trainer cards from your deck, And the fact that you want to maximize the amount of Rapid Strike cards you can have in your hand to do more damage with Rapid Strike tentacles, there's a lot of sequencing and a lot of decision making that goes along with playing this deck. Now, I think it's very fun and it's also very explosive, and I think you will learn a lot and challenge yourself if this is a starter deck for you. But I would not expect to be able to master it right off the bat if you are brand new to Pokemon. That being said, it is a great deck for its price, and it's just a great deck in general. That's the best thing, right? When there's a cheap deck that's also just outright good, and it doesn't, being cheap isn't even its best quality, but this is the best of both worlds. It's budget, it's a great deck, it has high placements. You can learn a lot with it, and to boot, I think it's pretty fun to play as well. Next, we'll go on to Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX Inteleon. Now, this one, this is a very complicated deck. Former world champion Robin Schultz won Liverpool Regionals with this deck. And I will say the main card of it is Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, although there are so many cards in this deck. It's kind of what is called a toolbox deck, where you have a lot of options to use throughout a game. So we'll look at this deck. There are a lot of videos on YouTube, including here on this channel. I have a video going over this deck. But if you want to learn this deck, there's a lot of resources out there if this deck and its price point appeals to you. So Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX is a fighting type of VMAX Pokemon. VMAX means that when it's knocked out, your opponent will be awarded 3 prize cards, as opposed to the default 1 or the 2 prize cards for a V Pokemon. So Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX has 330 HP, fighting type, and has the Rapid Strike emblem, so cards like Rapid Strike Energy will work along with it. And it has 2 attacks. Gale Thrust does 30, but if this Pokemon was previously on your bench this turn and moved to the active spot, it does 150 instead. And then Gmax Rapid Flow for fighting colorless, you discard all energy, and then you choose 2 of your opponent's Pokemon to do 120 damage to each of them. So this is a very versatile card. Having fighting type is great against Arceus V-Star, Jolteon VMAX, the same cards we were talking about earlier, why Hariyama has had a chance in the metagame. The same things apply for Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. Now, Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX in this deck comes along with a bunch of partners. The Octillery, which was also in the Malamar deck, that searches your deck for any Rapid Strike card once a turn. We have Medicham with Yoga Loop. This is a very cool card. The Yoga Loop attack says put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon, and if your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by this attack, you get to take another turn. So this one's always cool. We have Passimian with Throwing Coach. It says that your Rapid Strike's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's benched V Pokemon, so using something like Rapid Flow against V Pokemon on the bench will do more damage if you have Passimian. And then here's where it gets really cool. We've got some dark Pokemon in here. Hoopa does 90 if it moved from the bench to the active, similar to Gale Thrust, but it does not hit for weakness. Now, Galarian Moltres definitely hits for weakness, and it's definitely why it's here. So the dark type is going to be great against Mew VMAX. The ability Malevolent Charge says when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may attach up to 2 dark energy cards from your hand to this Pokemon. And then the attack does 20 plus 50 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. So if your opponent took 5 prize cards, Fiery Wrath will be doing 270 damage, and if your opponent's weak to dark, you don't even have to wait that long. You can just let them take like 3 prize cards and then start swinging with this small Galarian Moltres, not a V Pokemon, just a regular old basic Pokemon. And this whole thing will be supported by the Shady Dealings Drizzile Inteleon engine. So this is the most difficult deck to play, I'd say, in this video. It's about at the middle point, being not the cheapest deck in the video, not the most expensive deck in the video. Very good. It can be metagame dependent. If there's a lot of Mew VMAX decks, then maybe you don't want to play it, even though you do have the answer for them. It's still not a matchup you want to see. But if there's a lot of Arceus V-Star decks in the metagame, this is probably a deck that you want to have in mind. And at the price that it is, Really good to pick up the cards for it. I wouldn't suggest this one if you're brand new to the game, though, because it has a lot of different cards going on, a lot of different strategies going on. So if you're brand new, probably I'd be looking at Hariyama or one of the or the next deck that we're taking a look at, which is Dark Box or Dark Intellion. So this one's actually pretty similar to the Rapidstrike Urshifu deck we just looked at, except just dialed down a little bit. This one got 16th place at Salt Lake City, piloted by Mo Ideas. Mo is a friend, so I just shorthanded his name, but his full name is Mohammed. Um, so this deck is also going to be using the Drizzile Inteleon Shady Dealings engine with the quick shooting Inteleon that allows you to put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon once a turn. But you'll see that this deck is a lot less convoluted than the Rapidstrike Urshifu deck. It has more duplicate cards. It has 2 of all these supporter cards, more duplicate trainer cards, and a shorter Pokemon line as well, not including the Rapidstrike Urshifu VMAX or any VMAXs. It does have 2 of the Galarian Moltres that we've already looked at today, and 1 of the Hoopa, but it also has a Galarian Moltres V. Galarian Moltres V has the Dire Flame Wings ability. Once during your turn, you may attach a Dark Energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon, and it has the attack Aura Burn that does 190. Galarian Zapdos has the Fighting Instinct ability. This Pokemon's attacks cost 1 colorless energy less for each of your opponent's Pokemon V in play. So you can punish your opponent for just playing down too many strong cards. And then you get to use Thunderous Kick for just a fighting energy if your opponent has 3 V Pokemon out. It does 170, and you discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So this is kind of a weakness box style deck as well. You're just trying to hit some dark weak Pokemon and some fighting weak Pokemon, and maybe even you can throw in a water energy and try to hit some water weak Pokemon as well. With Raihan around, when something's knocked out, you get to attach a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, and then search your deck for any 1 card. So you will see people putting 1 water energy in here just so they can get to attack with Inteleon's Aqua Bullet sometimes. Now, the last deck we'll look at is going to be Suicune Ludicolo from my friend Finnegan Daniel Lynch. Finn got second at Salt Lake City Regionals with this list. This one is going to be the most expensive in the video. $53 is the price point at the time of recording this. This looks like a much more simple deck. There's less Pokemon, more duplicates of cards. This can be, I'd say the entry level to this deck is pretty easy. You can play this deck to an okay rate of playing, just picking it up, learning the cards, but you can express your skill more and more with this deck the more you learn with it. Whenever you have cards like Drizzile and Inteleon that allow you to search out 1 or 2 specific cards from the deck, there will most of the times be exactly like this is 100% the optimal card you should get, or these are the 2 optimal cards you should get. And so that always allows players to have room for error or room for really good play. But I think this is a deck that can go the distance. It could probably take you, you could probably use this in tournaments for the next few months to come. And it just got second place at a regional, so that's great. And I think you can enter with this deck as a beginner and grow with the deck, and your skill will grow and you'll learn more things about the deck. When to use your cross switchers to bring up your opponent's Pokemon, scoop up netting an Inteleon and reusing it, when to rare candy down your Ludicolo. Let's look at Ludicolo. It has the Enthusiastic Dance ability, and when you evolve it, you may use the ability. During this turn, your basic Pokemon's attacks do 100 more damage to your opponent's Pokemon, and that's how you'll be dealing damage with this deck. Suicune V maxes out at 220 damage with Blizzard Rondo, and then Ludicolo helps it reach those higher VMAX HP numbers. So this was the last deck today. We looked at 5 different decks that are under $55 to purchase at the time of recording this video. In review, we have Hariyama, Malamar, Rapidstrike Urshifu VMAX, Dark Box, and Suicune Inteleon Ludicolo. Hope you all enjoyed this video today. Be sure to check out my sponsors and other links in the description down below, and subscribe to this channel for daily Pokemon TCG content. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.